It all began on a quiet Tuesday morning in Washington, D.C., when Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana walked into his office with his usual calm, good-natured humor. The day had started like any other until his assistant, Marcy, rushed in holding her phone, her face pale and uneasy. "Senator, you're trending," she said softly. Kennedy looked up, puzzled. "Well, that could mean I either cured cancer or stepped on somebody's toes again." "Which is it this time?" he joked. Marcy hesitated before showing him the viral clip. Rosie O'Donnell, during a late-night interview, had mocked him relentlessly, calling him a dumb hillbilly, the comic relief of Congress, and a man who proves degrees don't equal wisdom. The audience laughed, the host chuckled awkwardly, and social media exploded. Memes spread like wildfire, hashtags trended, and comment sections filled with cruel jokes about his southern accent and mannerisms. For a moment, Kennedy said nothing. His usually kind eyes darkened with quiet reflection. He wasn't a man easily offended, not after decades in politics, but this time it cut deeper. He'd been insulted before, sure, but never for something he'd worn with pride all his life, his roots. His voice, his drawl, his down-to-earth humor, they were part of the culture that raised him, part of the Louisiana soil that molded him into who he was. Marcy looked worried. "Do you want to issue a statement, sir? Or maybe?" Kennedy raised a hand gently. "No. Sometimes the best sermon comes after the laughter fades." That night, while pundits debated and social media mocked, Kennedy sat quietly at his desk, pen in hand. He began writing not a statement, but a speech. Not one filled with bitterness, but with meaning. His words flowed like water, guided not by anger but by purpose. A few days later, the Senate was filled to capacity. News networks had caught wind that Kennedy was planning to respond publicly. Even Rosie's team hinted she might tune in live. When Kennedy stepped up to the microphone, the room fell silent. His posture was calm, his voice steady, but behind that southern gentleness was the steel of conviction. "I've been called many things in my life," he began with a soft smile, "but hillbilly, now, that one's my favorite. Because if believing in hard work, family, faith, and freedom makes me a hillbilly, then I'll wear that badge with honor." Laughter rippled softly through the room, but Kennedy's tone shifted, growing more serious. "See, I come from a place where your handshake matters more than your hashtag. Where folks still look each other in the eye, and you're judged not by the sound of your accent, but by the strength of your word. Some of the smartest people I know never wore a suit or had a fancy title. They fixed cars, taught children, prayed for strangers, and built the roads we drive on." He paused, his eyes scanning the chamber. "So to anyone watching, especially young folks out there, don't let anybody tell why.